Welcome to the show, and thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Allison, and today we're diving into a topic that affects all of us, whether we realize it or not. I had this moment a few months back. I mentioned out loud that I needed to buy a new mattress. Not typed, not searched, just said it. The next day, here come the mattress ads in my social feed. Not one, 5. From brands I'd never heard of. Coincidence? Maybe, but it didn't feel like it. That got me asking a bigger question. Are our devices listening or just really good at guessing what we'll want next? Evelyn, welcome. Thanks for joining us for a conversation on are our devices listening or just predicting our lives? And what to do about it. From smart speakers to predictive algorithms, from harmless convenience to creeping surveillance, we're breaking it all down. Let's get into it. Most real estate deals in America still start with word of mouth. Someone dies, someone moves, and suddenly the house is for sale. But in today's tech-driven world where our phones and devices are always listening, are those private conversations being sold to realtors or land grabbers before we even call a broker? Thanks, Allison, for having me on the show, and great question. Yes, your suspicion is valid. While big tech companies claim they're not selling recordings of your conversations, they absolutely harvest behavioral data constantly. What you say, do, search, click, or pause on, it all builds a behavioral profile. And those profiles, they're worth a lot. That sounds abstract, but it's happening constantly. You scroll past a house listing, you hover on a tweet about leaving your city, you ask Siri for the weather in Montana. You didn't say you're moving, but your data trail just did. But is that even legal? Isn't there a rule against selling what we say in our own homes? Technically, yes, selling recordings of your actual conversations without consent is illegal, but companies exploit the fine print. You've likely agreed to vague terms that let them share anonymized data with partners. They track your metadata, app use, even your proximity to Wi-Fi routers or smart TVs, not the voice, the pattern. Think about it like this. You don't have to say, I'm getting divorced. The system sees you visiting divorce law websites, changing your address in Chrome, browsing single-bedroom apartments, and texting different people more often than usual. Put those signals together, and a data broker now knows you're likely about to list a house, maybe before your spouse does. Okay, but what about those times where I think of something and suddenly I'm seeing ads for it everywhere? Are my smart devices reading my mind? Is there some kind of electromagnetic brainwave that these devices are interpreting? Yes, the brain signal grab. Smart devices like phones can't read your thoughts, not your brainwaves or electromagnetic signals, but they don't have to. AI is so good at prediction, it feels like ESP. It uses what you've clicked on, talked about, hovered over, and builds a model that knows what you'll want before you do. So this is just predictive tech. It's not actual thought reading. What makes it feel so spooky is how these predictions seem to arrive just before you act. You think about switching jobs and LinkedIn recommends resume templates. You start feeling burned out and suddenly Spotify is feeding you calm down playlists. It's not magic, it's math, and you're the data set. Exactly. There are 4 forces at play: predictive profiling, ambient eavesdropping, cross-device tracking, and the Baader-Meinhof effect. Once you notice something, you see it everywhere. That combo makes it feel like mind reading. One of the biggest myths is that companies need to hear your voice to know what you want. In reality, your digital shadow is louder than anything you could say. Every like, skip, scroll, pause, purchase, bounce, and emoji, that's all signal. And when they triangulate those signals with your location, age, income bracket, contacts, and even your neighbors' behaviors, that's how they get ahead of you. But what about actual brainwave tech? Isn't that on the way to our digitally lived futures? What happens when the data we're leaking today gets fed into neurotech tomorrow? Imagine pairing your smart speaker's behavior model with your emotional state, measured through a future headset. Your ads won't just be timely. They'll be emotionally engineered. It's not just on the way, it's already here. Companies like Neuralink, Kernel, and Emotive are building headsets that can interpret basic thoughts, mood, and attention. They aren't in phones yet, but it's coming. For now, your behavior says more than your brain ever needs to. So how can we protect ourselves? How do we keep from leaking behavioral signals every time we breathe near a smart speaker? Here's how you take control. Turn off voice history on Alexa, Google, and Siri. Deny microphone access to most apps. Use privacy browsers such as Brave or Firefox. Use encrypted messaging like Signal. Don't link all your apps to Google or Facebook logins. It won't make you invisible, but it makes you less predictable. So is it mind reading? No. Is it worse? Maybe, because it means we're participating, are often voluntarily, in our own surveillance. The truth is, our phones can't read our minds, but they don't have to. With every click, voice prompt, and pause, we're training the system. And unless we opt out, we're volunteering the blueprints of our lives, one convenience at a time. Evelyn, thank you for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. And if you like what you've heard, leave us a comment, share, and see you next time.
This podcast was made with help from artificial intelligence ChatGPT for the script and structure. 11 Labs narration, HeyGen for lifelike lip-synced video, and fine-tuned with Keren Live, a free and open-source video editor. Thanks for tuning in. And if this episode sparked something, subscribe, share, and join the conversation. You're not imagining it. The system really is watching.